it's hard to explain to other people what being out of breath is like, because now that I'm not out of breath, I'm like, damn, you guys have been living this all your life? Like, this is so easy. But like, for people with CF, it's like, I've heard that it's like if you take a straw and run up and down the stairs and just breathe through a straw. That's what we do, like bending over, or, you know, and like, so I don't know how to explain it to someone who is breathing all the time, yeah. Like, I would get out of breath, like bending over to fill up my cat's dish with water. Come on, that's not normal. Cystic fibrosis is the #1 inherited disease affecting young children in North America. It sucks. And basically it's the mucus builds up in your lungs, and it's the perfect breeding ground for bacteria, which causes infections, which cause you to go into hospital multiple times a year to get IV antibiotics, and eventually the infections scar your lungs, so your lung function, if you start off at 100, if you're lucky enough, you just keep dropping and dropping and dropping in your lung function, and then you can't breathe anymore. It was getting really scary because, like, I just had no more room to go. I was down to 15% lung function, and always in the hospital. And they're like, we need to put you on the rapidly deteriorating list, so the next lungs are yours, like, immediately. I was sleeping, and a nurse walks into my room, and she goes, her name's Karen, and she says to me, Hattie, they just called, and they've got your lungs. And I was like, no, no, they don't. She's like, yeah, they've got your lungs. I'm like, oh my God, and I just start crying. And then I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning that I got the call. And then I called my mom, and she's like, what? Okay, I'm coming over. We had to wait a long time. They said the surgery was supposed to be for 8, but obviously surgery's always backed up. And I think that the one surgeon who was helping the main surgeon guy came into the room, and he said, he didn't speak very good English, and he's like, your lungs are almost here, and they're quite good. And we're like, okay, this is it. So, because it could have been a false call, like the lungs could have got there like damaged, or I don't know, they find something wrong with the lungs. So like, you're just hoping the whole time that it's not a false call. They wheeled me in at about like 9:45, and actually passed another CFer in the hall who I knew, who had got transplanted 2 years ago. So that was really encouraging. I'm like, yeah, like, she's doing so good. And then, so I said hi to her, and then got wheeled in. And the surgery, I think it only took 6 hours. Not only, but some of them can take like 12 to 14. And my mom said that the nurse came out after the one lung was, after they scraped out my lungs, which came out really nice because I didn't have a lot of scarring, which is always good. Like, I know one CFer who just got transplanted, he had a lot of scarring, so they had to like literally scrape out his lungs, which causes like bleeding, and that's really hard, but luckily mine just came out nicely. And so after my lungs came out, then a nurse went up to my family and said, okay, the lungs are out, they're just putting the new ones in. And then after they put the new ones in, they come out again, and they're like, okay, they're just sewing her up now. And then they sew me up, and then they take me up to ICU. Luckily, I had read other people's blogs, because they said, just go with the breathing. Like, let the machine do the breathing for you. It's going to feel really weird, and it's going to be like a struggle, but just breathe with it. So luckily, I had read that and done my research on it. So when I woke up, the nurse talked me through it, and I was like, oh, okay, like I was able to breathe. And I was able to come off it really fast because I was able to breathe with it. Life after transplant sucked at first. The first probably 2 months, I was like, the first definite month, I was like, I don't know whether this was worth it. Like, I'm so weak. I was in like a medicine fog. They just are pumping you full of all these immunosuppressants, like toxic drugs where sometimes like they're like, oh, like my mom can't touch some of the pills because you're not allowed to touch them. I'm allowed to touch them because they monitor my blood work. Like, they're just such toxic pills that I was just in like this haze of medicine fog, and I was like I felt like my personality was gone, and I was like, this is almost as bad, if not worse, than before transplant. But then as my incision started to like get looser and like I was able to breathe deeper, and the nerves, like, they cut me, so all the nerves, like, I still can't feel a lot of things, like if you were to touch me, but slowly coming back. But like after that slowly started to come back, life has been great. I'm able to go out dancing, I'm able to walk the streets, I'm able to stay up till 3 in the morning and not totally be zonked out. People are like, oh, you're not in bed yet. I'm able to wash the dishes, wash the floor. Like, I cleaned up my mess the other day and without getting out of breath. I pick up my cat now. Before, my cat weighs 10 pounds and I was never able to pick her up without being so out of breath, and it's great. I can pick her up now and I can chase my little cousins around and I can do everything again. I can't wait to go swimming. 6 months I'm going swimming because I used to be a competitive swimmer, so can't wait to go swimming again. And I don't know, life has been just, it's getting better and better, and it just keeps getting better and better. That's what's nice about this side of the tracks. Like, before transplant, things just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and this, it's better and better and better.